Another week, another Monday, another Pokemon battle, and apparently another sand team that is staring me down in the face right now. So, I'm using a team that Joey gave to me a couple of months ago. I used it on PO and Showdown a little bit, but I didn't really feel like it was working for me there, so I decided, well, we'll bring it over to my DS, we'll put it on Wi-Fi, we'll see how it goes. Pretty conventional, aside from the fact that there's an Among Us, which is rather interesting, and unfortunately I didn't get a chance to nickname any of these guys beforehand, so we're just going to roll with the non-nicknames. I guess we're going to do a bit of a Wild Chase cosplay today, in terms of not nicknaming things. God, can you imagine someone cosplaying as Wild Chase, though? Jeez, that's kind of scary. Think about it. Anyway, not that that's something that we need to think about right now. Let's think about this battle, which I'm going to lead off with Mamoswine. I decided that, seeing as he has a weather and I don't have a weather, he may want to lead off with T-Tar, so Mamoswine gives me a little bit of an advantage there. He'd probably want to switch out on the predicted Earthquake and I get up Stealth Rocks for free. Unfortunately, he has a Skarmory in the lead spot, allowing him to get up 2 layers of spikes while I set up my rocks and then switch to Rotom, respectively. So, at this point, I definitely just want to break his sturdy, get solid damage on the Skarmory with a Volt Switch and try to mitigate the hazards. The unfortunate thing is that I don't have a spinner. He doesn't have one either, which is why I kind of wanted to get my Stealth Rocks up instantly, because it helps out with lots of stuff on his team. But I don't have a spinner either, meaning that this is going to be a little bit of a problem on taking Spikes damage and potentially Stealth Rocks if his T-Tar manages to set them up. So I should have really paid attention here, but his T-Tar gets leftovers before my Among Us does, although I guess that works that way, because Black Sludge and leftovers are the same level of priority. That's a weird thing to consider, item priority, but yes, I believe they are, which means that he is faster, so he gets some Stealth Rocks. Essentially, I thought that maybe I would be able to spore him before he set up rocks. Unfortunately, he set up rocks before I spore him, but the silver lining to this is that I now have a guaranteed 1 turn of sleep, whereas if I'd outsped him and put him to sleep, that would have been his guaranteed turn of sleep, as he wouldn't have been able to get up Stealth Rocks. He would have just used up a turn of sleep. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You're smart enough to figure it out for yourselves. So he is going to switch here, and I'm pretty sure he was going to do that, so I go for the ever-coveted Double Powder, which is going on. I go for the Stun Spore, which is definitely useful on Skarmory. You would perhaps prefer something like Burn, but it's nice to get the Power Hacks now and again, and, you know, Skarmory is decently quick as far as walls go, so works out pretty nicely, managed to paralyze him. And then I go for the HP Fire, thinking I'm going to easily be able to 2-hit KO this thing, but apparently he is more specially defensively invested. That, or I'm just underestimating the amount that an HP Fire from an Among Us can do to a Skarmory. I expected it to do more, honestly, but maybe he is specially defensive. I'm not fully aware of, you know, how well Skarmory usually takes Among Us HP Fires, so it's kind of up in the air. Unfortunately, I believe he's able to get up another layer of spikes, which means I think he has all of his hazards on the field. So that is something I'm going to be contending with this entire match. Among Us, however, doing alright at the moment. I can go for another HP Fire, which is in the Gliscor, which would have been nice to paralyze that thing. Had I predicted his switch to Gliscor and got the Stun Spore off, oh my lord, would have I been happy. I probably, you know, Among Us would have just been in Happy Town and just destroying everything. But unfortunately, he gets the poison. He then also, unfortunately, gets a crit on me with the Earthquake, which I am not taking too kindly. As you can see, I still take it pretty well because it is physically defensive Among Us, and then do a disappointing amount with a Giga Drain. So things aren't turning out the best for Among Us right now. I feel like I don't want to switch it out, because if I come back in, all these hazards and stuff, I actually, you know what, Regenerator is a thing as well. I think I completely forgot about Regenerator this match. Otherwise, I probably should have switched this thing out, but I don't. I continuously get Giga Drain, Jigga Wigga, Higga Frigga Drain. Just all the drains have been drained by my draining powers, and Latios comes in, takes practically nothing from it, and we're stuck at this situation. So I don't want to switch on Latios, because Latios is unpredictable. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to smash my team to pieces. So I think sacrificing Among Us here is probably the best thing to do. Fortunately for me, he ends up going for the Trick, which works out well in 2 ways. 1, I live and am able to Stun Spore him. 2, he tricks himself my item, which so happens to be the Black Sludge and not the leftovers. So works out pretty gloriously, because I know at this point he is not gonna try and do another move and keep the black sludge, he's going to want to trick again. And I obviously don't want to switch anything on my team in, because then I'll be given the black sludge back. So I just stay in with Among Us. Even though the choice specs locked me into Stun Spore, I pretty much guaranteed to get my black sludge back at this point. That's what I do. I now go for the Giga Drain again. I probably should have switched at this point, because the Psyshock is pretty obvious now that he is back to his regularness and he's not going to fuck around with Trick anymore. So I probably should have switched to take that better, but I don't. I die to it, and well, you win some, you lose some, and unfortunately Among Us goes down, but does some really good work while it was alive. Manages to deal with that Latios, even though it shouldn't really have had the authority to deal with it. Best thing to do, I probably should have switched straight into Rachi from Among Us, because then Among Us would have stayed alive and I would have been able to make it get more health because of Regenerator, but it doesn't matter because I can go straight into Rachi now. I decided on Iron Heading as opposed to substituting, just because there's lots of stuff on his team like Jellicent, which basically, Jellicent walls that Jirachi pretty much 100%, because I have Fire Punch, Substitute, Iron Head, and Body Slam, and he resists 2 of the moves, and one of them isn't affecting him, so I just go straight for the Iron Head, do a decent amount of Landorus, and then go into my Rotom to take the Earthquake / U-turn, whatever he wishes to go for, and he ends up U-turning on that play, which I seem to be okay with. Rotom doesn't take it appreciably well, but it's okay. It's not a significant amount to where Rotom is unusable. Certainly with more than 50% health and with access to Pain Split, I should be doing alright for myself. So he goes into Gliscor, which I find rather interesting. I guess he's just using it as a chance to heal himself up with Protects and all that good stuff, and maybe bait me to miss a Hydro Pump and use up Hydro Pumps. But now I know he's going to switch. There's no reason for me to stay in and Hydro Pump again when his Jellicent or his Latios or something can come in. So I'm going to Volt Switch now. Pretty much no risk there. He couldn't really touch me with Gliscor anyway, apart from Toxicking me, but I'm still not sure as to whether he carries that or not. So go for the Volt Switch on the predicted switch and take out the Latios with a crit, in fact. Not sure if that crit really mattered, but even if it did matter, I could easily revenge the Latios. It was low enough health to do such a thing, so works out pretty well. Going to Mienshao, who is not Regenerator, and I don't know, it would be kind of cool to have Regenerator Among Us with Regenerator Mienshao, because then you can kind of keep both of them alive longer, but this is Reckless Mienshao with Choice Scarf. This is a Scarf set, which really powerful actually. When you combine High Jump Kick with Reckless, you're doing huge amounts of damage, but of course he has a Jellicent on the team, and this Jellicent is actually going to prove like a giant pain in my ass, because I have no real way to deal with it. The one way that I could deal with it is either Choice Banded Stone Edge from Terrakion, or if Among Us was still alive, Among Us could mitigate the damage pretty well, go for Giga Drains and all that good stuff. But for the current time, all I really have to do is go into Jirachi and Iron Head flinch it, because without this, I mean, with this Jellicent, his team is a lot sturdier against my main threats of Mienshao and Terrakion. I can't lock myself in on either Close Combat or High Jump Kick when Jellicent is alive, so I go for the Substitute. I know that I can have my Substitute stay up with the Scald, because Scald doesn't do enough damage to break it, so behind a sub, I'm like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but I'm going to try an Iron Head. I've never really used Iron Head Jirachi before, so I don't know what my luck's going to be like with flinching and stuff, but apparently my luck turns out to be pretty good, because the first Iron Head I go for, I get a crit, which definitely heavily appreciated, because it basically just means it's going to take much fewer turns to whittle down this Jellicent, as opposed to, you know, 7 hit KOing it, instead of, like, you know, doing that, I can like 4 hit KO it. So that's great. I'm actually doing much more to this Jellicent than I'm expecting to do, and I actually get the flinch on that one. So things are turning out nicely. The fact that Sandstorm's up as well means that he's not gaining health back each turn with lefties, meaning that every time I do damage, it's going to stick to that amount of damage at the end of the turn, regardless, because of the knockback from Sandstorm and the recover from lefties. I end up being able to push him all the way down to 27 HP, which is good enough for me, honestly. If Jirachi dies now, that would be fine. I can revenge kill him easily. But, ladies and gentlemen, Jirachi, always the greatest Pokemon of all time, even though Joey built this team with, you know, the inferior Jirachi set. Not quite the upper echelons of Calm Mind Rachi, but, you know, sub Ironhead Rachi's alright. It does the job, I guess. You know, it's fine. Of course, if I had Calm Mind Rachi, this Jellicent could have done nothing to me, because I would have Calm Minded in its face and then T-bolted it, would have been dead. But even with Ironhead Jirachi, I'm managing to take it out, which works out pretty perfectly, I might say. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I've done my job. I'm not going to switch out on a Landorus. It's too unpredictable. I'm not sure if it's going to U-turn or Earthquake or whatever. Just stay in, see what it wants to do, see what it wants to potentially lock itself into if it is, in fact, a Scarf set, and that's fine. He Earthquakes. I can now go into Scarf Mienshao, which I know will outspeed, and go for the HP Ice to take him out. However, I'm feeling more inclined to go for the High Jump Kick, because even if he goes to Gliscor, I've got a feeling High Jump Kick's going to do a fuck ton, because it is Reckless boosted, and I just want to, I'm kind of interested more than anything to see how much it does. Also, on the fact that he goes to sack his T-Tar, which he does right now, works out into my favour, because I just clean him out with a High Jump Kick and I'm good to go. Now, the problem here is that I'm locked into High Jump Kick, and his Gliscor is the Protect variant with Substitute and stuff, though I don't know it's the Substitute variant yet, because I hadn't seen Substitute at this point. So, I make what is perhaps a really bad play, because had I stayed in and just High Jump Kicked, then either he protected and I kill myself, or he tries to sub and I get rid of the sub, in which case Gliscor doesn't have a sub up and I'm not really fearing it. However, switching out allows him to get up a substitute on my switch, and now he's going to be the most annoying fucking thing in existence, which is sub protect Gliscor. Now, I haven't really encountered Sub-Protect Gliscor all that much, fortunately for me, but the 1 or 2 times that I do encounter it, it ends up being one of the most frustrating fucking things to deal with in the world. The good thing about it is that I have a way of dealing with it, which is Mamoswine. Mamoswine is faster than Gliscor and also has Icicle Spear. I think Ice Spear? Icicle Spear? I think it's Icicle Spear, which is the multi-hit move, which means I can break his sub and then kill him in the same turn, which is really what I want to do. But for the time being, I went to Rotom. A bit of an oversight. This was some bad plays here, going to Rotom and trying to Hydro Pump him, because Hydro Pump can miss, he can easily protect. I just wanted to get rid of the sub, and as soon as the sub is gone, I'm going to go straight into my Mienshao, because I'm thinking I can go for the HP Ice and break his substitute with HP Ice. I forget that, of course, hazards are up, and there's too many hazards for Mienshao to live, so that was another reason I shouldn't have switched Mienshao out, because I was going to die to hazards on switching anyway, so I should have just stayed in and gone for the High Jump Kick. But I had to find a workaround. You know, had I done that in the first place, Mienshao would have died, but I could have easily gone into Mamoswine and then just killed him with the Icicle Spear. As it happens, I die with Mienshao with hazards, he has up a substitute, but go into Mamoswine, psych him out with the Ice Shard first of all, and make him not afraid, because I know he's going to protect, and once he's protected on the Ice Shard, he's going to think, okay, this is fine, I can just sub again with the Ice Shards. But, ladies and gentlemen, after he's protected, I reveal I have the Icicle Spear, take him out in 2 hits, substitute with 1 hit, and then I get a crit on the second one. Not going to say that the crit mattered in any significant way, because I had a high chance to get a 3rd hit with Icicle Spear, and the fact that a crit cleaned him out clean means that 1 more hit would have cleaned him out clean regardless, so there is the fact for you. But at this point, I'm thinking, okay, he only has Landorus and Skarmory left. As long as I go into Rotom, click Hydro Pump, I should be good to go. I don't think Hydro Pump will kill the Skarmory, but Power Hacks can play into my favour, as it does as I switch the Rotom in. Allows me to stay in with this thing on the potential he would have whirlwinded me, and go for the Hydro Pump, and if he wants to go to Landorus predicting the Volt Switch, he's going to get hit in the face with a water move, and then his Skarmory is slim pickings, not slim pickings, easy pickings, because I do of course have the Volt Switch, which at this point after Stealth Rock damage should be able to take Skarmory out. If it isn't good enough to finish off the Steel Bird, then I do have Choice Banded Terrakion with Close Combat, who can come in, finish off the game with a stab hit, and that'll be that. But turns out that Rotom has indeed got the power. He's got the power. He is the Rotom. He's able to finish off the Skarmory and leave me with the win. So, great game. I really enjoyed that one. interesting stuff going down, and certainly a fun team to use on Wi-Fi. Among Us is always an interesting Pokemon to be thrown around there, and cheers to Joey for hooking me up with it a while ago. And that's pretty much that. If you did enjoy the video, as long as it has been, this has been a bit of a long one, but I decided I want to explain things a bit more, so I'd extend the video length, and this is what you get. If you did enjoy it, feel free to leave a like. That definitely helps. Thumbs up button is always going to increase my channel's integrity, shall we say. Not that that really makes any sense, but I feel like it's a good thing to say. And that's that. We're done. I'm going to finish this video before it gets any longer because it's already too long, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.